Well, Tanya and I always love always love cable cars, and so this morning we're off on a cable car ride up to the top of a mountain, which we frequently do. So we're still here in Quito, Ecuador, and
lots of mountains.
Lots of mountains, so it should be a fun ride. Come along. Well, we made it to the top of the mountain here with the cable car. We are, as we look out over the city of Quito, we are just under 14,000 feet above sea level. And even further above where we are now is the site of a volcano that last had an eruption in 1999, so fairly recently. So you can see out over the city of Quito there's a certain amount of haze. There's always low-flying clouds, and there is a certain amount of industrial pollution, of course, that we can see. But it's an amazing city. It's much longer than it is across, and it's just settled in this volcanic valley. I was mentioning before how long Quito is. Quito is 48 kilometers long and only 8 kilometers across. Tanya was just mentioning that at over 2.5 miles above sea level right now, we're climbing even higher above where the cable car dropped us off, so we can feel it.
Air's pretty thin.
Air's getting a little thin here. This is taller than Mount Hood and almost as tall as Mount Rainier, for those of you from the west coast of the U.S. Of course, one of the things Tanya always enjoys is going to the Botanical Garden where we are, and we're in a section now full of, what do they call them, animal-eating plants? Carnivorous plants, which kind of caught my eye. Orchids are fine. Okay, a lobelia from a chrysanthemum, I'm not sure. But these things, these kind of catch my eye a little bit. Here's some of these up here, if you can see.
Look at all of those over there.
All of these over here.
And look at the big ones right there.
Yeah.
See them on the bush right there.
And look at these. Yeah. So those poor little insects, they just fall in there and
the top closes.
They're goners. Yeah, check these out. They kind of look like condoms, but so no Venus flytraps in there, and no flies actually. Tanya was wondering how come how these cats eat in there. They're all ready for a meal, but Hannibal says occasionally they'll let flies in there, so they're kind of on a restricted diet. Okay, so here's a plant that's interesting. These are called tree tomatoes. So they're tomatoes, but they don't grow on a bush. They're in a tree. Okay, this looks like salad that we may have a little later.
I can help you with a picture, so who wants to be first?
Well, Tanya and I always like to take part in local culture and absorb as much of it as we possibly can so that we can, relate to our environment and to the people around us. And so after the Botanical Garden, we have now arrived at Casa Agave.
Really cool.
And apparently they also make apparently a sort of tequila. So we're going to have to find out here. You know, that's having just been in Tequila, Mexico, just a few weeks ago and sampled the real thing. I don't want to offend anybody here, but let's find out. It looks like there's going to be a kind of a tasting here. You can see here's some people. They're swirling it. They're
just the way we did.
Just the way we did. The tequila master here is, you know, encouraging them to smell it and all that sort of thing. And so some real tequila, semi-tequila aficionados here, Tanya. Yeah. So we're looking forward to this, and
it's a lovely setting.
It's a lovely setting. It's a little garden here, and they're playing some nice piano music, soft jazz, so it's
very pleasant.
Probably the place that we should be.
I think that's right.
Okay, here we go. So we just finished our tour and tasting here at Casa Agave, and basically the difference between tequila made in Mexico and this distilled product is, and it's called Miske, M-I-S-K-E, is that it doesn't necessarily come from blue agave. It can come from a number of different agave plants, but rather than the process used in making tequila, where you take the pineapple, the core of it, and then process it and get everything out of that. This is taken from underneath, or it's come from, not underneath the leaves, but the center of the agave plant, and they extract this nectar, and then that is purified, distilled, and then made into a couple of different varieties, either what they call the silver variety, which is more for, you know, shots, and the aged type, which is like añejo tequila, is aged in American oak bourbon barrels. So anyway, it's very tasty, and I'd say one of the good things about it here is that as far as the agave plants, is that they can use the same agave plant over and over and over for up to 20 years, whereas once an blue agave plant in Tequila, Mexico, is matured, you know, it's the ultimate sacrifice. There you go. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this Miske journey. We're here in our hotel room in Quito, still waiting a bit. It's been very interesting the last couple of days. I mentioned earlier the indigenous protests that had been going on in the country. They have spread throughout the country. Things started I believe they started on Monday, first thing Monday. It's now Wednesday about noon, and people are demanding lower gas prices and lower food prices and a betterment of their general overall condition, and so consequently have blocked roads throughout the country, and that is continuing now. And actually, the activity has increased over the last couple of days. Yesterday, they arrested the leader of the indigenous movement, but then they let him go again earlier this morning. They burned some police cars. They took some police hostage. No one has been killed yet, but there's been quite a bit of activity. And meanwhile, travel agents and tour operators are hustling around trying to figure out what to do with their customers. So it all works out for us. We're just standing by. A number of our tours had been modified so that we didn't have to actually leave Quito because a lot of the roads are blocked. Our travel agent has been trying to do is to get us a hotel that is closer to the airport. The airport road apparently is still open, and so we're supposed to leave in about 20 minutes to transfer to a different hotel to get ready to fly out of Quito tomorrow morning for Galapagos. So they're, like I say, so far that road is open, and so we'll see what we can do. It's for us, it's not a big deal. These things happen, and people are unhappy everywhere, and we just work around it. So we'll see you soon from our next hotel near the airport. More excitement. Well, things always seem to work out just fine for us. Even though the roads were blocked, our travel agent was very concerned about getting us out of the center of Quito and at a hotel closer to the airport. We thought, okay, that's fine. So they indeed did that. Drove us over here to this hotel. We were going, I thought, oh, the airport's over there. No, yeah, it's okay. It's sort of over there. We ended up at this place that is just amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's called San Jose de Puembo, Puembo. And you can get a load of this place. Let me get this over here. Yeah, this is just incredible. This is the entrance. Okay, maybe not terribly impressive, but it's this. It's like this, Spanish colonial hacienda vibe going on here. You come in. I mean, for just a couple of schmoes that are staying here overnight before they go off somewhere, it's pretty amazing. Hola. There's this old colonial thing here. It's just, it reminds me of something like, like La Quinta or something like that. La Quinta in south of Palm Springs. Forget the baby crying. Here, I'll show you a little more in a second. There are these lush gardens all over the place. There's a conference center. And these grounds are all over the place. They take you to your room in a little golf cart, just like a swanky resort. Oops, sorry. There's all these little bungalows all over the place. More bungalows. It almost seems like there should be an ocean at the end of the park here. All right, here's the lovely Tanya again. Okay, Tonster, what's up? We only have about
20 hours?
No, we have about 18, I think.
18 until
Yeah.
we have to leave?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We better get cracking.
We better get with it. Okay.